WROKDOWN live at Musicland. Well, in the 60s, if you were watching the Go Show, you were definitely hearing a band that became the house band for the Go Show, and of course the band needed no introduction. They were the most famous band around at the time, The Strangers. My special guest, Peter Robinson.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pete, now let's do this. Let's get this happening straight away, because what we need to explain was these guys were everywhere. Have a look. 20 years old. You're supposed to say, oh. How gorgeous is that? Now, the funny thing, Pete, was you actually, the band started out as an instrumental band, is that right?
We did, that's right.
What, you sort of played all the,
the Shadows and the Ventures, all those instrumental type songs. That's how we got the name The Strangers. We said, what do we call ourselves? And the song we were rehearsing at the time was The Strangers. So we thought, okay, we'll be The Strangers.
So that's how you got your name?
That's how we got the name, yes.
And you were, honestly, I just know this for a fact, the most famous band around, especially around Melbourne, in the 60s for quite a period of time. Then, of course, you all started as the, is it the house band on the Go Show?
Yeah, that's how it went. Actually, how it happened was that they were advertising that there was going to be a new television show for teenagers on television, which is the first one in Melbourne, apart from 6 O'Clock Rock. And we read in the paper that this band called the Phantoms had got the job playing for all the artists and doing all the music on the show. And we were horrified. We thought, this cannot be. We're 9 times better than these guys. So we went storming into the offices of the production company and said, how dare you put this other band on? We're much better. You should hire us. And they said, well, if you think you're that good, you better come and do an audition for us. So we did an audition and got the job. You
got the job.
Yeah.
So basically what used to happen in the Go Show was you would play all of the backtracks, and the artists, for example, who was on the Go Show? It was
well, Buddy England, and there was Bobby and Laurie, and there was Yvonne Barrett, there was Pat Carroll at the time.
Yeah.
And there was Johnny Farnham, and there was, everybody was on the show.
And so everyone would come on the show, sing a song, and the band would actually...
Yeah, well, what would happen was the artists, well, the producers would say, okay, Johnny Farnham, we want you to sing this song, and Russell Morris, we want you to sing that, etc., 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 because they were all, in those days, songs that were on the hit parade, popular songs that everybody knew. So, well, cover versions in effect. So they say, well, you're going to do that song. So then they give me all the music and say, Pete, make that happen. So I had the Strangers, and I had a couple of extra musicians as well, and we'd just put the track together, record all the backing tracks on Saturday morning, the whole
show.
The whole show. Then the singers would come in the afternoon and they put their vocals down. Then when the singers went, we'd go in and do a vocal backings. And we'd finish probably about 8 o'clock, I guess. And some tracks were actually didn't have any voices on because they wanted to have some songs live, you see. Mm-hmm. So out of the singers who were on who could really sing well, they'd make them do their songs live, you see, with the backing track. And we'd stand in the background and kind of mime what we'd already played.
The irony of that, and I'll just quickly touch on this because I know we're going to talk about the tour that you've just done. The irony of the fact that you were an instrumental band, the whole band ended up being the vocal group for a whole lot of television shows because no one realised these guys had the best voices in Victoria. So you all ended up being the vocalists for
That's right, yeah. Well,
Sunny Side Up and...
we used to do IMT, we used to do like every television show that was there because we had the rock sound voices and we were the only musicians in those days that could actually read music. So they
you
could
were
write
it.
the stuff and we were it whether we liked it or not. Yeah.
Tell us about what you've been up to this year because it's been a very exciting year and I know that you've been on tour with the fabulous Diana Trask.
That's right.
Who has been living in America for probably, what, the past 30?
About 30 years or so.
30 years?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that tour, and I know we're going to go to a little interview with her as well.
Well, Diana had a song out called Oh Boy, Sheep I'm in, and so on and so on. You remember that one? She was a great singer, and she started off as a pop artist working on the main television shows like IMT, Don Lane's show and things like that, and she sang straight type songs. When she went to America, she got in the country thing and started singing country tunes. And when she came back on this tour, this is the first time she'd been back to Australia to work for about 30 years. She was a kind of a put your toe in the water tour to see if everyone remembered it and if they liked the new songs. Yeah, it was just great.
You're coming back on the show later on and we're going to talk about the possibility of Diana coming back and the other things that you're up to. But let's go to the interview. Sometimes they do let me out. Is it girls? Where are my girls? They let me out. I got out and about. So here's a little interview with Diana.
Thank you.
WROKDOWN.
Welcome back to WROKDOWN. Peter Robinson is with me, and we've just been talking about the fact that you've been a very busy boy this year.
Have been a busy boy this year. We had the Go Show earlier on this year. The Go Show is a recreation of the original television show that's live with all the original artists. Anyway, it was a good show. It was great.
I heard it was a fabulous show, and unfortunately I didn't get to see it, but are we going to have some more Go Show reunions? Yeah,
well, next year, on August 30, it is the 50th anniversary of the Go Show, and there's going to be a special type of show. I'm not sure of the exact details at this stage of the game, but there could well be 3 concerts because there's so many artists who are on the show that you can't get them all on one night.
Oh, so you're actually saying 3 consecutive shows?
3 consecutive
shows.
So
if you booked for the
different
tour,
artists on each one.
You would actually have to buy 3.
Well, no, you can just buy the one if the artist on that you wanted to see for that show. But if you wanted to see more, I think they'll probably have some deal where
you could buy 3 for free.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know why, but the thing is, to fit everybody on, you couldn't do it in one night. So.
Well, of course, because even the show that you mentioned, I believe the first show, when they were in rehearsal stages, they realised that it ran for so long that you had to actually cut.
Had to cut like 5 songs out.
Cut songs out because there were so many people.
Well, it's been going 3 years now. It started off, well, last year was the 3rd year, and the 2 years before that, and this year will be the 50th anniversary. But unfortunately, a lot of old Go Show artists have kind of passed on, like Daryl Cotton. Who would have thought Daryl would go?
How good is Daryl?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. He's still with us here.
He's still with us up in the sky.
He's still with us here.
Imagine.
And of course, you know, I know, of course, you every Christmas try and catch up with a lot of your friends from the Go Show days. And Olivia often drops out and you have a bit of a catch up. Olivia Newton-John. What about John Farrar?
Well, John and Terry, in The Strangers there was Terry Walker, myself, Garth Thompson was the drummer. Who did I leave out? John Farrar.
John Farrar.
Right, so John and I keep in touch. Terry and I keep in touch. I go stay with him every January for 2 weeks, and different people arrive, like Olivia came one year and John and Pat came another year. John and Terry just spent a month in Hawaii. It's tough.
Tough life.
A tough life.
Tough life for those guys.
And he just got back last week, and I've not to get all the goss yet.
But you will get all the goss.
I will get all the goss.
You will get all the goss. So, of course, you're responsible for all of these shows. You are the musical director.
Yep, that's
so
right.
Everything has to sound as much like the original...
Or whatever the project is.
Project is, yeah.
Sound as much as what it is. So that'll be a challenge doing, I guess there'll be about 30 artists next year, so it's like a lot of work.
Well, 30 artists would have to be more than one show, unless you did a half a song each.
That's right. They may think of that, but I said to Glenn, when we did the last show, I said, Glenn, I know we were rivals in the 60s, the Strangers versus the Twilights, etc., etc., and I always wanted to be in the Twilights, and now I am.
Ah, and he probably wanted to be in the Strangers.
Probably.
Probably.
He didn't say that.
He didn't say, well, Pete, it's been
I'm
a
not
pleasure
quoting you, Glenn.
having you on the show. We're going to